Okay, it said codified under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, the fair use doctrine permits the unlicensed limited use of copyright materials for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, all right, scholarship, and research. All right, it acts as a flexible case-by-case legal defense against copyright infringement. All right, here go the four factors. Four-factor test. Okay. Right there, purpose of character, nature of the use, amount used, and the market effect. The market effect, whether unauthorized use harm the current future market value of the original work. Okay. So fair use are not monetized, strictly for educational purposes, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. So fair use are not monetized. Okay, before we start, let's get some scriptures. Yeah, we live in this exciting times right now. Man, this man is crazy. These people are crazy. Crazy. I don't know what to say. And evil. So before we start, let's go right here. I'm going to go in my Bible. Let me see here. Let's start in 2nd Esdras. Let me see here. Y'all bear with me here. Trying to see here. Oh, here we go. Second Esdras chapter 2nd Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to read the first 6 verses. It says, "Speak in the ears of my people the words of prophecy that I will put in your mouth, says the Lord." It said, "And cause them to be written on paper, for they are trustworthy and true." It said, "Do not fear the plots against you, and do not be troubled by the unbelief of those who oppose you. For all the unbelievers shall die in their unbelief." Verse 5, it said, "Beware, says the Lord, I am bringing evils upon the world, of sword, famine, death, and destruction." Why, Lord? "Because iniquity have spread throughout every land, and their harmful doings have reached their limit. Therefore, says the Lord, I will be silent no longer concerning their ungodly act that they impiously commit, neither will I tolerate their wicked practices." See? So wicked practices, pay attention to that word. It said, "Innocent and righteous blood cries out to me, and the souls of the righteous cry out continually. It says, I will surely avenge them, says the Lord, and will receive to myself all the innocent blood from among them." See, my people are being led like a flock to the slaughter. I would not allow them to live any longer in the land of Egypt, but I would bring them out with a mighty hand, uplift arm, and I will strike Egypt with plague as before, and will destroy the land, all this land. All right, so that's where we at. So the Lord is bringing that evil upon these nations. Upon the earth. Turn that down, it's kind of hot in here. All right, let's go here. So let's go here to the fourth kingdom and wicked rulership. It said Daniel identified the fourth beast as another kingdom. The first key word is the fourth, marking successive rulership. The second key word is kingdom, identifying organized dominion. Together, these words establish a ruling power structure. This opened our lesson with kingdom and dominion. So Daniel chapter 7 verse 23, let's get it. It said, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. So this is what we're seeing going on right now. That fourth, the word fourth is Rabbi Ayah, Strong 7244. Okay, you know, we got to keep in mind, you know, right here got E. It's got an E in there. But, you know, like in the ancient Paleo, it would be Rabba Ayah. So we're gonna keep calling it what it is here. It got Ribit Ayah, Strong 7244. The word means fourth, identifying the fourth position. So Daniel uses language for successive prophetic kingdoms. The verse therefore establishes a sequence of rulership. The fourth beast is not merely an animal. Scripture directly interpreted that beast as a kingdom. Okay, Maku, Strong's H4437, in the Aramaic, Maku means kingdom, dominion, reign, or realm. The word points towards organized governmental authority and rules. So Daniel identified this beast with political dominion. Its distinguishing feature is its worldwide destructive reach. Okay? The text says it will devour the whole earth, tread it down. So, and it breaks in pieces. That word, it breaks in pieces. So the word is diverse is Sheena, Strong's 8133. The word means change, alter, or be different. So Daniel says this fourth kingdom shall be diverse from all kingdoms. You know, you got different ethnic groups here in this kingdom, which is America. All right. It said, Daniel said, this fourth kingdom shall be diverse from all kingdoms. Therefore, the fourth kingdom is distinguished from those that preceded. Its character and manner of dominion are presented as different. This distinction becomes important when Daniel later described the rulers connected with it. So devour is a call. Strong's 041. The Aramaic word means to eat or consume. So Daniel uses this word to describe the destructive activity of the kingdom. So its dominion is not presented as passive or limited, the kingdom consumed what stands before it. Are we not seeing this? See, the Lord, when they give us this understanding about the nature of this beast, now it's coming out because the Lord is making Esau barren. Okay, Esau ruled this fourth kingdom. Esau Edom. Okay, it said the dominion is not presented as passive or limited. The kingdom consumed what stands before it. See, the language emphasizes the magnitude of its power. Okay, whole earth means Ka'ara. The expression means to the whole earth, land, according to the context. So Daniel presents the fourth kingdom as exercising extraordinary broad dominion. The following language intensifies that description. It will tread down and break the earth in pieces. The prophetic picture is therefore one of the intensive dominion accompanied by destruction. So the word is important because Daniel chapter 7 verse 23 is written in biblical Aramaic rather than Hebrew. The Strong's entries identify H7244, the fourth, and H4437 for kingdom. So Daniel's interpretation therefore gives us the meaning of the beast directly. The beast represents a kingdom, and that kingdom possesses dominion. The next verse moves from kingdom to individual ruler. Let's get 2nd Esdras chapter 11, and we'll read the first two verses. It reads, it says, "Then saw I a dream, and behold, there come up from the sea an eagle." Say what? An eagle, which had 12 feather wings and 3 heads. And I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her and were gathered together. So this eagle appears within another prophetic vision of earthly rulership. Its wings are described as spreading over all the earth. The imagery, therefore, presents intensive dominion. Daniel described a kingdom that devoured the whole earth. Ezra presents an eagle whose wings spread over the earth. So the second witness connection. So Daniel explicitly interprets the fourth beast as a kingdom. 2nd Esdras presents an eagle exercising expansive authority in prophetic imagery. So Daniel emphasizes that the kingdom dominion over the earth. Ezra likewise uses a symbol whose wings extend over the earth. Together, these witnesses establish the foundation of the prophetic kingdom and earthly dominion. So Daniel, the book of Daniel establishes the fourth beast as a fourth kingdom upon the earth. Its defining characteristic is intensive dominion accompanied by destructive power. 2nd Esdras presents another prophetic symbol associated with broad earthly rule. Both witnesses establish organized rulership. Before we examine the rulers themselves, all right, the foundation is therefore kingdom and dominion rulers. So Daniel's immediate context further identified the 10 horns as 10 kings, and the prophecy then introduces another ruler who rises after them. All right. The 10 horns is NATO and the EU ally of the United States, which is the beast. The 10 kings. Okay, the prophecy then introduces another ruler who rises after them. That ruler is described as different from the first and as subduing the 3 kings. This moves the lesson from the 4th kingdom toward the rises of the distinctive wicked power. Okay, that is the subject unit, the rise of the wicked power. So the rise of the wicked power. So Daniel continues the interpretation of the 4th kingdom. The 10 horns are identified as the 10 kings that shall rise. Then Daniel introduces another ruler who rises after them. This ruler is described as different from the first king. His rise is marked by the subduing of 3 kings. All right. So Daniel chapter 7 verse 24, the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue the 3 kings. All right. So when you go into that word 10, it's asar, Strong 6236. The Aramaic word means 10. Daniel specifically connects this number with the 10 horns. The 10 horns therefore have a defined prophetic meaning. They are not left as unexplained symbols. Daniel immediately identified them as 10 kings. Carnayan, Strong H7162. The Aramaic word means horns. In this vision, Daniel is given the interpretation of the horns. They represent kings exercising authority within the kingdom. The horns therefore symbolize concentrated ruling power. This connects the imagery of the beast directly to governments and rulership. Okay, kingdom is Maku, Strong 4437. It means kingdom, dominion, reign, or realm. All right. It said, the 10 kings arise out of the kingdom. Their authority therefore belongs within the structure of the 4th kingdom. Daniel moves from the larger kingdom to the rulers operating within it. The prophecy is becoming more specific concerning the power structure. All right. Another means horror. Strong's 0317. Okay, let's continue on moving. Let's get these verses. Let me see. Daniel chapter. It said, and the 10 horns out of the 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and shall subdue the 3 kings. All right. Second Ezra chapter 2 verses 12. Verses 10 and 10 through 12, it said, and he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest come up out of the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision thy brother Daniel. All right. But it was not mentioned, it was not expounded unto him. Therefore now I declare it unto thee. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be feared above all kingdoms that were before it. So Ezra identified this eagle as a kingdom, and the angel specifically connects this vision with Daniel's vision, which I already mentioned. It said the passage then speaks of a kingdom rising up upon the earth, and that kingdom became feared above the kingdom before it. All right. Okay, we got those two passages out of the way. How much time we in? Okay, we 23 minutes. Let's watch some of the video. Let me get one more passage, then we'll continue. Okay, Daniel chapter 7, verse 24, it said, and the 10 kings out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and shall subdue the 3 kings. Let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 12, verses 10 through 12. It said, and he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest come up out of the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel, but it was not expounded unto him. Therefore now I declare unto thee, behold, the days will come that there shall rise a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. All right? So this is what we seeing. This is where we at in the kingdom. So the let's go back and do a little commentary on this. Okay, Daniel chapter 7, it said, Daniel continues the interpretation of the fourth kingdom. The 10 horns are identified as 10 kings that shall rise. And Daniel introduces another ruler who rises after them. This ruler is described as different from the first kings. His rise is marked by the subduing of 3 kings. So Daniel chapter 7:24 is Strong's 62:36, the Aramaic word for 10. Daniel specifically connects this number with 10 horns, therefore have a defined prophetic meaning. They are not left as unexplained symbols. Daniel immediately identified these as 10 kings. All right, the word Karnayin, H70 or 162, the Aramaic word means horns. In this vision, Daniel is given an interpretation of the horns. They represent kings exercising authority within the kingdom. The horn, therefore, symbolizes concentrated ruling power. This connects the imagery of the beast directly to government and rulership. All right. So the Aramaic word Malkut means kingdom, dominion, reign, or realm. The 10 kings arises out of this kingdom, and their authority therefore belongs within the structure of the fourth kingdom. All right, Daniel moves from the larger kingdom to the ruler operating within it. The prophecy is becoming more specific concerning the power structure. Okay, another word, Horror, Strong's 0317. The word means another or another one. So Daniel introduces a ruler distinct from the 10 kings already mentioned. This ruler rises after them, and he is therefore presented as a later and distinctive power. This prophecy specifically said that he shall be diverse from the first. Strong is Sheena. Strong 8133. The word carries the meaning of being different or changed. So Daniel emphasizes that this ruler is different from the preceding kings. His distinction is therefore part of the prophetic identification. The text does not present him as simply another identical ruler. His authority and action distinguish him from those before him. All right, Yehospel, Strong 0828. So this word carries a sense of bringing down, humbling, or subduing. So Daniel said this ruler will subdue 3 kings. His rise therefore involved the overthrow or humiliation of another ruler, of other rulers. The prophecy presents his authority as forceful and dominant. His power is demonstrated through what happens to the 3 kings. 2nd Ezra chapter 12 verse 10. It's through 12. It said, and he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest came up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel, but it was not expounded unto him. Therefore now I declare it unto thee. Behold, the days will come, that there shall rise a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. So Esdras identified the eagle as the king, as a kingdom. The angel specifically connects the vision with Daniel's vision. The passage then speaks of a kingdom rising upon the earth. The kingdom becomes feared above the kingdoms before it. All right. So this is talking about America. In America, kingdom is this is Daniel's vision that he saw. It's talking about America, and his power went beyond the power that was before it, the kingdom that was before it, which was the Roman Empire, which Britain, which America come up out of. Okay, it was Britain, and Britain came up out of the old Roman Empire, and America come from the revived Roman Empire. I hope it's making sense to you all. So the passage then speaks of a kingdom rising upon the earth, and the kingdom become feared above the kingdom before it. So, like I said, it's talking about America, identifying America, which is Babylon the Great. So the apocrypha therefore supplies a second witness concerning the rise of the earthly dominion. The second witness connection. Daniel describes rulers arising from the kingdom, and then introduces another distinctive power. It says second Esdras describes a kingdom rising and becoming greater and more feared than those before it. So Daniel emphasizes succession and increasing authority. Esdras likewise emphasizes a kingdom rising above previous kingdom. Together, the witnesses establish a prophetic pattern of rulership arising, increasing, and dominating previous powers. So Daniel established the 10 kings arising from the fourth kingdom. After them, another ruler arises who is different from the preceding kings. His power is demonstrated by subduing 3 kingdoms. And second Esdras likewise described a kingdom rising to become feared above those before it. So the 2 witnesses therefore established the movement from kingdom to multiple rulers, distinctive rising power. All right. So the next unit shift from the fourth kingdom to another prophetic image of massive dominion. So Ezekiel presents the great tree. Presents a great tree whose height and greatness represents exalted power. That brings us to unit 3, the great tree and the world dominion. So let's get that one. But before we get, let's watch some of the video that I got. We're gonna watch this first one by Elder Malcolm, and then we're gonna bring in the second clip that is related right here.
Shalom. Call Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah Kudash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000 the Tabernacle of David ordained to be the ruling class people, the ruling class government, the ruling class nation over all other people, nations, and governments upon the return of the Lord. who the world falsely and fraudulently calls JC. His name is Yahushai. Always was, always will be. And to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled birds, the Israelite foreigners, among the heathen nations, that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. All right? And to the few Wakaf, meaning the sisters that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone in Chicago, reporting out of the Rocky Mountains here in Colorado Springs. And that's what you're looking at. You're looking at the beginning of the Rocky Mountains in this image there. And yeah, and basically, like I did a short lesson yesterday, we're at the end of this thing. All the end day prophecies are happening at hand. And the main two being the MOTB, which is the digital prison that they're creating here in America through all this digital banking and digital surveillance. All right? And when you take that and you couple it with all the wars, the rumors of wars, that we're in the beginning stages of the third woe, and the nations have never been gathered in the valley of Jehoshaphat under these circumstances, and the fact that there are earthquakes, uproars, storms, volcanoes erupting, fires, everything that the Bible warns us to be looking for is here. All right. So now, with that being said, I'm going to read a scripture. Watch out, Stormy. Hold on. I got it. The cat just jumped up, about to knock over the camera. Come on, come back. No. You get back over here. Shut up. Salakia.
Yeah.
This cat and the dog took a liking to me. I got two. They both follow me around. It's crazy. Okay, you Stormy. No, you stay over there. All right. And this cat a trip, bro. So you can sit right there. Yeah, you got space over there. And yeah, let me get this scripture. Salakia for that. This is Luke 12:2. And it reads, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." So I'm going to play a couple videos, 3 of them to be exactly, at the water to my beloved April O'Neil, on the spot reporter. All right. And this information that she sent. So let's get to it. And that one, and that one. So we'll start with this one first, with the attack investigations. And I forget this guy's name, but he gives you this information, but he gives it to you from a very pro-American standpoint, as if the Americans are trustworthy and that they can be trusted. Being if they passed a bill, I think around the 2014 or sometime, it was during Bush Jr.'s presidency, that bill got passed into law that the government can lie. They can propagandize its people for security purposes, which is completely and totally unconstitutional. But anyway, here we go.
News coming out that one city in California is currently in a state of emergency as the FBI is investigating an entire city shutdown. We're hearing, they're even saying right now, you don't have to pay your bills in the city because right now nothing is operating. 911 cannot be reached. Systems have been shut down. The city is in a state of emergency. And like I said, FBI, DHS, CISA are investigating yet another cyber attack that has taken place on U.S. soil. Now this comes as we're also hearing about more cyber attacks littering the United States. We're hearing that ports are being hit, in addition to what we've been hearing about water systems. And again, we do not have the identity of who who is behind these, but there's a lot of speculation that this is Iran. Let me know your thoughts, and let's go ahead and take a look at the latest headlines so that way you can see it for yourself. Coming out in the last 24 hours, chaos in Susan City declares state of emergency after hackers cripple 911 systems. Susan City declares a state of emergency after cyber attacks. The North Bay city says a malicious software infected its systems on Friday morning, impacting public safety and other city services as well. Now, as I mentioned, this comes as, take a look at the last 48 hours. We've also been hearing North Carolina ports. They have confirmed cyber attacks are disrupting their operations. We're seeing a variety of cyber attacks hitting across the United States. And this comes as I've been sharing with you the updates on U.S. water systems in 12 states targeted in a wave of cyber attacks. And again, not full confirmation yet on who is behind these attacks, but Iran likely behind the cyber attacks on the U.S. water systems. Sources say malicious cyber actors have attacked municipal water systems in at least 7 states. It has now gone up to 12. We've received confirmation on some of these states, and those include Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, South Dakota, Georgia, California, New Jersey, Oregon. These are just some of the states that have come out and announced, yes, we are the ones that have been hit. And also, we've heard warnings directly from the IRGC regarding our power grids in the United States. They've warned Donald Trump that if you conduct a massive attack against the energy in Iran, we will hit not only U.S. military bases in the region, but will also come after the homeland. And I also shared with you in the last roughly 48, 72 hours, we also heard from Iran in an announcement Friday. They had said that they're also planning to develop missiles that can reach all the way across the world and hit U.S. soil. They said that this is something that they would like to do because it's time for Americans to feel what it's like to be hit with missiles on U.S. soil.
And that's actually biblical. It talks about the virgin daughter being touched. All right, she's never, being that no outside entity has ever invaded Babylon. But you have to take it all with a grain of salt because America is notorious and has actual proven history of doing things, experiments, and attacks on its own citizens to test out things and to push forth. I mean, the whole 911 thing was blown wide open for anyone who has eyes to see. The narrative that they pushed fell apart, and it's amazing to me that they still try to sell it. You gotta remember, they put that in the history books. Okay? And as a matter of fact, some of the people who supposedly on the plane were found alive. What was that one disaster? The shuttle disaster that happened, they found all those people, every one of those people were found alive. Same people, some of them didn't even change their names.
Damn.
Come on, man.
Hold on, y'all.
Right,
Let's go back. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's hear this again. Let's go back a couple minutes. All right.
California, New Jersey, Oregon. These are just some of the states that have come out and announced yet.
Now,
as I mentioned, this comes as, take a look at the...
there we
Which is completely and totally unconstitutional. But anyway, here we go.
News coming out that one city in California is currently in a state of emergency as the FBI is investigating an entire city shutdown. We're hearing, they're even saying right now, you don't have to pay your bills in the city because right now nothing is operating. 911 cannot be reached. Systems have been shut down. The city is in a state of emergency. And like I said, FBI, DHS, CISA are investigating yet another cyber attack that has taken place on U.S. soil. Now this comes as we're also hearing about more cyber attacks littering the United States. We're hearing that ports are being hit in addition to what we've been hearing about water systems. And again, we do not have the identity of who is behind these, but there's a lot of speculation that this is Iran. Let me know your thoughts, and let's go ahead and take a look at the latest headlines so that way you can see it for yourself. Coming out in the last 24 hours, chaos in Susan City declares state of emergency after hackers crippled 911 systems. Susan City declares a state of emergency after cyber attacks. The North Bay City says a malicious software infected its systems on Friday morning, impacting public safety and other city services as well. Now, as I mentioned, this comes as, take a look at the last 48 hours. We've also been hearing North Carolina ports. They have confirmed cyber attacks are disrupting their operations. We're seeing a variety of cyber attacks hitting across the United States. And this comes as I've been sharing with you the updates on U.S. water systems in 12 states targeted in a wave of cyber attacks. And again, not full confirmation yet on who is behind these attacks, but Iran likely behind the cyber attacks on the U.S. water systems. Sources say malicious cyber actors have attacked municipal water systems in at least 7 states. It has now gone up to 12. We've received confirmation on some of these states, and those include Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, South Dakota, Georgia, California, New Jersey, Oregon. These are just some of the states that have come out and announced, yes, we are the ones that have been hit. And also, we've heard warnings directly from the IRGC regarding our power grids in the United States. They've warned Donald Trump that if you conduct a massive attack against the energy in Iran, we will hit not only U.S. military bases in the region, but will also come after the homeland. And I also shared with you in the last roughly 48, 72 hours, we also heard from Iran in an announcement Friday. They had said that they're also planning to develop missiles that can reach all the way across the world and hit U.S. soil. They said that this is something that they would like to do because it's time for Americans to feel what it's like to be hit with missiles on U.S. soil.
And that's actually biblical. Talks about the virgin daughter being touched. All right, she's never, being that no outside entity has ever invaded Babylon. But you have to take it all with a grain of salt because America is notorious and has actual proven history of doing things, experiments, and attacks on its own citizens to test out things and to push forth. The whole 911 thing was blown wide open for anyone who has eyes to see. The narrative that they pushed fell apart. And
hey, this remind me of 9/11, man, because I was around in 9/11. I was a lot younger than I am now. But hey, anybody that was living around the time of 9/11, they can understand. I mean, they can get a feel of what's going on, a grasp of what's going on. So let's go here to. Let's go here and break down how this relates. Wow, what happened? Let me see. Okay, let's get Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 3. It said a great tree in the world dominion. It said Ezekiel introduces a great tree as a pasture of exalted power. See, Esau lost that great power, man. They been stripped of their power. And they still trying to intimidate these Arab countries, which they had intimidated for many years. Now that stuff is wearing out. They can't intimidate the nation like Iran because the Lord is raising them up. All right, in these latter days to fulfill His purpose. So it says Ezekiel introduces a great tree as a picture of exalted power. The tree is described as being great in stature and extending its branches. Its greatness reaches beyond itself and provides a place of shelter. The imagery therefore presents an elevated power with extensive influence. So for many years, America exercised tremendous power over other nations. All right, it's that beast, that fourth beast that I brought out earlier in the lesson. It said the imagery therefore presents an elevated power with extensive influence. So it done lost that power, all right, it once had. The second edges give another prophetic image of earthly dominion through an eagle spreading over the earth. It said, behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with branches, with fair branches, with a shadowing straw, and of an high stature, and his top was among the thick boughs. All right, when you go into that word cedar, it reads Strong's 0730. The Hebrew word for Erez means cedar or cedar tree. Cedar tree. The cedar was associated with heights, strength, and grandeur. Ezekiel uses the great cedar as imagery for an exalted Assyrian power. Its branches and stature portray the reach and greatness of that power. The following verse expands the picture by describing how far its branches extended and how other nations were connected with it. The tree therefore provides the prophetic picture of an elevated earthly dominion. All right. Throughout for 50 years, this tree, this power dominated the Middle East, well, Southeast Asia. Southwest Asia. All right. It says, let me see where I stopped at. It says the important point is that Ezekiel is not merely discussing a literal tree. The surrounding passage applies the imagery to Assyria and its greatness. This tree becomes the representation of a powerful ruler and kingdom. Second Ezra chapter 11 verses 1 and 2 said, Then I saw a dream, and behold, there came up out of the sea an eagle, which had 12 feather wings and 3 heads. And I saw, behold, she spread her wings over the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her and were gathered together. So the corresponding key words eagle, the key word of in the apocryphal witness is eagle. So the received English text, second Ezra, the passage comes through the Latin textual tradition. So there is another standard Strong's Hebrew Greek number for this word, comparable to Hebrew Strong entry for Ezekiel 31 verses 3. The eagle functioned as a prophetic symbol of an earthly kingdom, its wings spreading over all the earth, communicated intensive dominion. This corresponds with Ezekiel 7, whose great stature and branches portray an exalted power extending its influence. The apocrypha itself later provides the interpretation of the eagle. Second Ezra chapter 12 verse 10, the angel said, This interpretation of the vision, the eagle whom thou saw come up from the sea, is the kingdom. Okay, there the eagle is explicitly interpreted as a kingdom. The connection between the two words, setter and eagle. Ezekiel uses a setter to portray greatness, heights, and intensive influence. Second Ezra uses the eagle to portray a kingdom spreading its wings over the earth. The symbols are different, but both communicate elevated earthly power. Ezekiel is specifically connected with Assyrian greatness. Second Ezra is explicitly interpreted as a kingdom. So the setter established the imagery of an exalted earthly power. The eagle established the imagery of a spreading authority over the earth. Both prophetic witnesses uses created symbol to communicate the greatness of the earthly dominion. Ezekiel emphasized the stature and the branches, while Ezra's wings and territorial reach. Together they established the prophetic concept of greatness, expansion, and dominion. Okay, so that brings us to the fall of the mighty ruler. So Ezekiel continued the judgment against the great Assyrian power. The tree was exalted. It said was exalted, is now delivered over to destruction. Hey, this is what we're seeing right now. It said the greatness does not prevent Yahweh from bringing it down. The mighty ruler is therefore shown to be subject to divine judgment. So these elites that's ruling this nation, this beast system, is finna get ready to be brought down. That's what I'm reading about right here. It said, its greatness does not prevent Yahweh from bringing it down, see? So the mighty ruler is therefore shown to be subject to divine judgment. Second Ezra likewise presents the downfall of an exalted earthly power. Hey, this is what we seeing right here. It said, I have therefore delivered him into the hands of the mighty one of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out for his wickedness. So the stranger, the terrible of the nation have cut him off and have left him upon the mountains, and in all the valleys his branches are fallen. So his abodes are broken by all the rivers of the land, and all the people of the earth are gone down from his shadow, and have left him. So when you break down that word delivered, is Nathan, Strong 54:14. The Hebrew word Nathan means to give, to put, place, or deliver. So here Yahweh said he has delivered the mighty ruler into the hands of another power. And the ruler who had previously possessed great authority is no longer protected from judgment. All right, his downfall is presented as something Yahweh himself brings about. Okay, the passage specifically connects this judgment with the ruler's wickedness, see? Therefore, the great power that appears secure can be handed over to when Yahweh brings judgment. So the surrounding imagery confirms the result. His branches fall, his bows are broken, and the nations that once rested under his shadow departed from him, will depart from him. So 2nd Ezra chapter 12 verses 10 through 12, let's get it. It said, and he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel, but it was not expounded unto him. Therefore now I declare it unto thee. So the Lord is declaring it to us. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all kingdoms that were before it. See, this is talking about America. Okay, the second Ezra is preserved through the Latin texture. Okay, we read all that. So the meaning is nevertheless clear within the passage. An earthly kingdom emerges, become fear above previous kingdom. This gives us an important connection with Ezekiel. Ezekiel showed a great power being delivered over because of wickedness. Okay, Ezra showed earthly power rising to extraordinary prominence. The two passages together establish an important prophetic principle. Earthly power rises to great heights, but their position does not place them beyond Yahweh's judgment. Connection between the two, the two words are delivered, rise. Ezekiel emphasized the mighty ruler being delivered into the hands of another power. 2nd Ezra emphasizes a kingdom rising upon the earth. And one passage presents the exaltation of earthly power, and the other presents its overthrow. Together, they demonstrate the earthly dominion has both a rise and a fall. No earthly kingdom remains permanently exalted when Yahweh determined to bring it down. All right, this is what we see. So Ezekiel showed the mighty ruler being delivered because of wickedness. The branches that represented his greatness are cut down and scattered. So the nation that once benefited from his shadow abandoned him. All right, are we not seeing this? So 2nd Ezra presents another kingdom rising to become feared above those before it. The combined testimony established that earthly power can rise greatly and still be brought down. All right. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's hear some more. Let's see some more of the video. Let's get so everything is happening because the Lord's finna get ready to restore his people, man. So the restoration of the land, and that's what we see. That's why you're seeing everything happening over there. Because the Lord finna ready demolish that land and bring his people home. So that's why we seeing this third woe transpiring. It's gonna get out of hand. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get wickeder. Okay, after the judgment of Babylon, Jeremiah turned to restoration of Israel, which consists of the Negro, the Latino, and the Native American. All right, but we had to go through this. It's called the Straight Gate, which is Jacob's trouble. And this is where we at right now. Let's see some more of the video.
the narrative that they pushed fell apart, and it's amazing to me that they still try to sell it. But you gotta remember, they put that in the history books, okay? And
so y'all want to see the video on y'all own? Here goes the brother channel,
found alive,
the Elder Apostle channel.
What was that one disaster?
Y'all can watch the video on y'all
disaster that happened. They found all those people. Every one of those people were found alive. Same people. Some of them didn't even change their names. Come on, man. All right. So, flip side of that coin, you can't hit someone and expect them not to hit back. So eventually, Iran and other nations will do things, but like I said, you have to take it all with a grain of salt. But let me get another scripture, and then I'm gonna play another video, which is also in Luke 8:17. These are very milk scriptures. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known or come abroad. So it's just like all the facts about 9/11 turned out not to be facts at all. And the involvement of a certain small nation and the celebration, of a small nation that had a group of people that were dancing on rooftops, and all the other evidences that points to them, and so many other events that points to them. How Charlie Kirk's assassination, and all of a sudden you had IDF members, dismantling the whole area, resurfacing the whole area where it happened. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. Something came out of him, something didn't go in him. So, it turns out that if a microphone went off and it backfired, it malfunctioned, but still killed him. It served its purpose, but it was, supposed to look like a gunshot wound, but clearly something came out of him, and it not only came out of him, but it hit the ground all around him. So the surface, that whole surface area where he was unalived, they came in the very next day and resurfaced it, blocking any investigation. And it turns out that these were mainly IDF soldiers and also IDF people who were on security as well. So everything is suspect with this man. Everything is suspect. So let's play another video. We got two more. And here he is.
The United States is about to attack, drop a bomb on its own soil, and frame Iran for it, to rally the troops of America to go off and fight for the pedophiles at the top. That's right. An intelligence leak has come through. The reason that Joseph Sumar relieved his duty of the USS West Virginia nuclear submarine was because he was approached by Pete Hegseth and the higher-ups in the Pentagon to carry out this mission, and he refused. He flat out told them that he refused to carry out that mission, that he would not drop bombs on American soil when there was no threat. This is what's coming. Just as the Black Swan event that happened in 9/11 was portrayed and perpetuated, was done by Israel and the United States so that they could attack Afghanistan and blame Osama bin Laden. None of that was true. Just as none of this, which they are saying on the news about Iran, saying that they are planning to attack U.S. soil with nuclear weapons. That is all a false flag. It is a false flag created by the United States government. This is what's coming. But the United States government has relieved that nuclear submarine commander, and the new one will definitely drop the bomb on American soil. This is what's coming. Do not be fooled. And to hide this, the United States government will 100% sink that submarine to the bottom of the ocean, and you'll never see any of those sailors again.
Yep.
That is what the American government is willing to do to hide their hand when it comes to underhandedness. So this is what's coming. There's a false flag.
Y'all excuse me there. Shit. Hold on. Damn. When it go wrong, it go wrong. Hold on. Damn. Hold on here, y'all. Right there.
This is
Hold on. We'll hear the rest of it out.
false flag. America will bomb the United States to frame Iran for it, so that the United States can rally the troops and send hundreds of thousands of American men and women off to be killed to fight Iran. This is what's coming.
Okay, see, this is where we at, y'all. It's finna get ugly out here. It's finna get real sinister. So let me go on. I mean, how much time? Let's go on and go into the scripture. Let's spend the next 20 minutes. And then on part 2, we'll watch Sabbath Sab video because it's related. Okay, we stopped at I think it was Ezekiel. I think it was Ezekiel 31. No, we stopped at Second Ezra chapter 2 verses 12. Let's start here. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 19. It said, and I will bring, here go the true reparation right here. It said, and I will bring again again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. So when you go into the word, so after the judgment of Babylon, Jeremiah turns to the restoration of Israel and the land that had been devastated and trodden down by the small hatters that's claiming to be us. It said the land had been devastated. It was promised to become fruitful again. See, it said the language moves from destruction toward restoration and abundance. So this is what's coming to the true children of Israel. It said that the primary focus is Yahweh's act of restoring his people to their inheritance. See, it's all about an inheritance. So Second Ezra likewise turned the prophetic picture toward the coming shepherd and everlasting rest. This is what's coming. Let's read it again. Let's get another interpretation. Let me go to my Bible. Let's get Second Ezra. I mean, not Second Ezra, but Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 19. And it reads, I'm going to start at 18. It said, therefore, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah of hosts, the power of Israel. Behold, I am going to punish the king of Babylon and his land, talking about America, just as I punished the king of Assyria. See? All right, verse 19, and I shall bring Israel back to his pasture, and he will graze on Carmel and Bashan, and his desire will be satisfied in the hill country of Ephraim and Gilead, okay? Verse 20, in those days, at that time, declares Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, search will be made for the iniquity of Israel, and there will be none, and for the sins of Judah, but they will not be found. For I shall pardon those whom I leave as a remnant. See, so this is what's coming, man, and ain't nothing these devils can do about it. So when you go into that word bring again, it's shub. That means Strong's 7725. The Hebrew word shub means to turn back, return, restore, or bring back. So Yahweh declares, I will bring Israel again to his habitation. This action originates with Yahweh himself. Israel is being brought back to the place appointed for him. The passage then describes Carmel, Bashan, Ephraim, and Gilead as places where Israel will again find abundance. Therefore, the restoration involved both return and renewed possession. So the words are important because Jeremiah is contrasting the future condition of Israel with the devastating caused by judgment. What was displaced is brought back. What was lost is restored. So this is what's coming. 2nd Ezra chapter 2 verses 34 and 35. It said, and therefore I say unto you, O ye heathens, say what? O ye heathen that hear and understand. Look for your shepherd, he shall give you everlasting rest, for he is not at hand that shall come in the end of the world. See, we at the end of the world, man. We at the end of an age, and this is the end of the world here in the West, the Western Hemisphere. It said, be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. So this is what's coming, man. This is the true promises, the inheritance for the Negro, Latinos, and Native American, along with these speckled birds. So corresponding key words, shepherd. Okay, the key word from the apocryphal witness is shepherd. In 2nd Ezra's, the shepherd is presented as one who comes at the end and gives everlasting rest. The passage therefore moves the prophetic picture from earthly distress towards divine deliverance and lasting rest, because the received text of 2nd Ezra is not preserved through the Latin textual tradition. A standard strong Hebrew Greek number should not be invented for this English word. So this connection with Jeremiah is thematic and prophetic. Jeremiah describes Yahweh bringing Israel back to his habitation, while Ezra points to the coming shepherd who provides everlasting rest. The connection between the two words, bring again, shepherd. Jeremiah emphasized the return and restoration. 2nd Ezra emphasizes the shepherd who brings everlasting rest. Jeremiah focuses specifically upon Israel returning to his habitation and being satisfied in the land. So 2nd Ezra points forward to the shepherd who comes at the end of the world. And that shepherd is who y'all even call Jesus Christ, who is Lord Yahushua. Together, the passages move the prophetic picture from displacement and judgment towards restoration and deliverance and rest. So Jeremiah showed Yahweh restoring Israel to his habitation. The land is no longer presented merely as a place of desolation. Israel is pictured feeding and being satisfied in the restored inheritance. Second Ezra present the coming shepherd and everlasting rest. Both witnesses therefore move the lesson from judgment into the hope of restoration. Okay, the Lord forgive the iniquities. So Jeremiah continued the restoration prophecy concerning Israel. The focus now moved from restored land to forgiving iniquity. So Yahweh declared that Israel's sins will be sought, but will no longer be found. The language presents complete removal of the offenses that brought judgment. Second Ezra likewise speaks of mercy and the remembrance of those who have kept Yahweh's ways. Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 20. It said, in those days, in that time, saith Yahweh, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none. And the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found. For I will pardon them whom I reserve. So that word pardon is salak. Strong's 55:45. The Hebrew word salak means to forgive, pardon, or spare. So Yahweh declares, I will pardon them whom I reserve. So the forgiveness comes from Yahweh himself. Jeremiah does not present Israel restoration as merely political or geographical. It also includes the removal of iniquity and sins that stood against the people. The result is described dramatically. The iniquity is sought, but there is none, and their sins are not found. So the passage therefore joins restoration with forgiveness. Yahweh restores his people and removes the guilt associated with their former transgression. Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 74 through 76. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh. Behold, Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh shall behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your guide. For Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh power. Let nor your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Okay, that word deliverer. All right. In this passage, that word deliverer, Yahweh promised deliverance from the coming days of trouble, see? So the surrounding statement also directly addresses sin and iniquities. The passage therefore connects Yahweh's deliverance with the condition of those who keep his commandments and precepts. Because the received text in second Ezra come on now. Let's keep going. Let's move on. Saying it said the connection between the two words pardon and deliverer. Jeremiah emphasized pardon, Israel iniquity, and Judah's sin. Second Ezra emphasized Yahweh promise to deliver his people from trouble. Jeremiah focused upon the removal of guilt, Second Esdras focus upon the deliverance while warning against following sins and iniquities to weigh the people down. Together, the passages show Yahweh as one who both forgives and delivers his people. So Jeremiah presents the powerful promise that Israel's iniquity shall be sought and not found. Judah's sin likewise shall not be found, because Yahweh's pardon his reserved remnant. Second Esdras declared that Yahweh will deliver his people from the coming troubles. Both witnesses place forgiveness and deliverance in the hands of Yahweh. Restoration therefore includes not only the land, but also the removal of sins that brought judgment. Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 21, go up against the land of Merathaim, against it and against the inhabitants of Pekod, waste and utterly destroy them, saith Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. Merathaim, Strong's 4851. So the Hebrew word Merathaim is connected with double rebellion or double bitterness. So Jeremiah uses this name in the command against the land. The name itself carries the concept of intensified rebellion. Yahweh therefore commands judgment against a power identified with rebellion. Talking about America. Okay, the command is not merely to confront it, but to waste or utterly destroy it. The prophetic picture moves from rebellion to divine recompense. Okay, it said the name is significant because Jeremiah is describing a people under judgment rather than simply identifying an ordinary geographical location. The wording communicates the character of the enemy being addressed. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 23, verse 23. It said the Babylonians and all the Chaldeans, Pekod, Shoa, and Koa, and all the Assyrians with them, all of them desirable young men, captains and rulers, great lords and renowned, all of them riding upon horses. Okay, the corresponding word Pekod, the key word from the apocryphal witnesses is Pekod. In Ezekiel 23, chapter 23, verse 23, Pekod is listed among the powers associated with Babylon, Chaldea, and Assyria. The names correspond directly with Pekod in Jeremiah 50, verse 21. Okay, the Hebrew word Pekod is associated with the root Pekod, carrying ideals such as to visit, appoint, oversee, number, or attend to, depending upon the context. The name is therefore significant in the prophetic judgment passages because power identified as Pekod is brought into the scene of Yahweh's judgment. Connection between the two words, Merathaim and Pekod. Jeremiah commands judgment against Merathaim and Pekod. Ezekiel independently places Pekod among the Babylonian, Chaldean, and Assyrian powers. Jeremiah therefore gives the command of judgment, while Ezekiel identified the surrounding political powers involved in the judgment scene. All right. It said the two passages meet directly on the name Pekah. This establishes a connection between rebellion, earthly powers, and Yahweh's appointed judgment. All right. Jeremiah's command is directed against Merithaim and Pekah. The name Merithaim carries the ideal of intensified or double rebellion. So Yahweh commands that this rebellious power be wasted or utterly destroyed. So this is what's coming to America. Ezekiel likewise places Pekah among the great political powers gathered in the prophetic judgment scene. All right. The two witnesses therefore establish rebellion, earthly powers, and divine judgment as the central elements of this unit. Let's get the sound of war. Okay, the sound of war in the land. Okay, Jeremiah continued the judgment prophecy against Babylon, aka America. Okay, the verse described the destruction of the land through the sound of battle. The imagery shifts from identity of the wicked powers to the violence accompanying its downfall. The supporting witnesses from Jeremiah 4 describe the prophetic hearing of the sound of war and destruction together. The passages establish a prophetic theme of approaching warfare. Okay, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 22, a sound of battle in the land and of great destruction. So that word cool, Strong 6963, the Hebrew word quol means voice, sound, noise, or thunder, depending upon the context. Jeremiah says a sound of battle in the land. The word emphasizes something being heard as judgment approaches. The sound specifically identified as the sound of battle. It is therefore not an ordinary noise, but audible indication of warfare and destruction. The verse immediately connects that sound with great destruction. This prophetic picture is therefore one in which approaching judgment becomes evident through the sound of conflict. So Jeremiah chapter 4, verses 19 through 21, it said, my bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war, destruction upon destruction is cried. For the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled, and my curtains in a moment. How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? So that word trumpet is it said ha-os era. The key word from the supporting passage is trumpet. So that's it. That's the corresponding word. Okay, the key word from the supporting passage is trumpet. The Hebrew term is ha-as era, refers to the trumpet, particularly a signal instrument. In the passage, the trumpet is associated directly with the alarm of war. All right, the sound signals approaching conflict and destruction. Jeremiah's response demonstrates that the sound of war is not merely symbolic of peace or prosperity. It announces the approaching crisis upon the land. See? The connection between the two words, the sound trumpet, Jeremiah 50:22, announces a sound of battle in the land. Jeremiah chapter 4, verses 19 through 21 describe the sound of the trumpet and the alarm of war. The first passage announces the battle and great destruction, approaching warfare. Together, the passages establish the sound of war as a warning of coming destruction. See? So this is what's coming. Okay, Jeremiah described the sound of battle entering the land. Okay, the sound is connected directly to great destruction. The supporting passage describes the trumpet sounding as an alarm of war. The land is spoiled. This is what's coming. The destruction follows the sound of conflict. The prophetic sequence therefore moves from the wicked power towards the warfare that accompanies its judgment. All right. It says the next unit identified the great power itself as the hammer of the whole earth and described its breaking. Okay, this is where we're going to stop at. We're going to, when we do part 2, this is where we're going to start up at Jeremiah 50, verse 23, the hammer of the whole earth. So I'm going to leave it right there. You know, sometimes I know I was being repetitive, but hey, this is how it was called out to me. So I had to bring what was called out to me through the Spirit. So I hope I wasn't all over the place. So I hope y'all was edified. And like I said, you know, we be repetitive. So, but that's good. We got to be repetitive. So like I said, I hope y'all was edified the lesson. Let's get a prayer in. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call lawyer Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekah Kadash. All heaven, praise, and honor and glory go to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekah Kadash. All heaven, praise, and honor and glory go to Yahweh, our Father, and Yahweh Shai, who is our mediator and our Lord and Savior, who everybody ignorant called Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh Shai. And he's the one finna get ready to come and take this man down and restore his people in that order. So once again, I hope y'all was edified the lesson. And second, I'd like to give double shouts and double honor to all the other apostles and bishops of GMS who rule well. And third, I would like to say shalom, shalom, shalom to all the like-minded men on down as myself that pushing the word in truth and sincerity. I say shalom to you all as well. And fourth, I like to say shalom, shalom, shalom to all the like-minded sisters that's remaining silent in the assembly of the Lord and teaching the younger women and children and to be faithful to their Father which is in heaven, and then to their husbands and their mate. And once again, may the Lord be with us all as we go further into the great tribulation. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm out.